Alright, so we're gonna be looking at the Ark of the Covenant symbolically, right? So we're gonna look at it in a spiritual sense. Now first let's get some scriptures. Let's go to Exodus chapter 25 and verse 10. It says, "And they shall make an ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof." Right? So now let's go down to verse 16. It says, "And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee." Right? Now let's go to verse 21. It says, "And thou shalt put the mercy seat above." Keyword above. "And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee." So let's go back to the image. So as we can see here, this is an image of the Ark of the Covenant and the mercy seat which is above, right? So now let's look at this diagram on the board. So now we're going to look at the drawing and go back through the precepts. Exodus chapter 25 and verse 10. "And they shall make an ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof." So we can see that the ark was made out of wood. Verse 16. "And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee." Right? Verse 21 says, "And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark. And in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee." So what we're looking at basically is we're looking at the Messiah and us. Right? So the ark would be a representation of what? Our bodies. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and 16. It says, "Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?" So we're seeing that the ark here is symbolic to us, right? We are the temple now, right? And what is in the temple? It says, "And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you." Now, what is the Spirit? What is that? The testimony that He gave to put in the Ark of the Covenant. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 6 and 63. It says, "It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life." So we are seeing that even the tables of stone, right, that has the covenant, was symbolic to the Spirit that would be in us, right? That's why he says the covenant should be, the words should be written in our hearts. This is what it is talking about. So the word, the testimony, that is symbolic, right? This should be a representation of the Spirit that is within us, the Spirit of the Most High, right? And this is where the authority should be from our conscience, right? Now, let's go to 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. Because what we're seeing there is that, matter of fact, let's go back to Exodus 25 and verse 21. It says, "And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark." So as you can see up top there, the mercy seat would be above, right? So let's now go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. It says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ." So, let me get this here. If this is each of us, right? The head, the mercy seat, is above. So this would be the head of man. This would be a representation of our spiritual head, which is the Messiah. Right? It says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. So this is the symbolism of the Ark of the Covenant and the relationship with the high priest, the true high priest, his relationship with us. He is our covering.